When you think of motorcycle manufacturing, you think of Japan, you think of Italy, you think of the United States. But what if I told you that some of the most advanced, the most absurd, and the most high-tech motorcycles on the planet are being built in countries you would never associate with two wheels? We are talking about V6 monsters from Eastern Europe, hubless electric superbikes from Scandinavia, a Brazilian behemoth powered by a literal car engine. Today we are taking a global curiosity tour across 15 incredible motorcycles from countries that will genuinely surprise you. Let us spin the globe. Number 15, Finland Verge TS Ultra. Scandinavian design is usually quiet and understated. A lot of clean lines, muted colors, and passive aggression about the correct way to assemble flat-pack furniture. The Verge TS Ultra is the exact opposite of all of that. The standout feature is the completely hubless rear wheel. The electric motor is literally built into the outer rim of the back wheel, eliminating the need for a chain, a belt, or a traditional transmission entirely. Finland is known for harsh winters and rally racing, not high-performance superbikes. But here we are, 201 horsepower, 885 foot-pounds of torque, 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, in a country where most people are just trying to survive January. The engineering story behind this design is worth understanding because it is genuinely revolutionary. By moving the motor inside the wheel, Verge eliminated an entire category of mechanical components. No sprockets, no chain tension, no alignment issues, no lubrication requirements beyond the motor itself. Finland's motorsport engineering heritage, built on rally racing in conditions that destroy lesser machines, shows up in how thoroughly they thought through every single problem before releasing a product to the public. And you can actually buy one of these things. $44,900 gets it to your door, fully exported, with the first deliveries to the US market already underway. If a hubless electric superbike from Finland sounds wild, wait until you see the carbon fiber weapon coming out of a tiny Baltic nation with a population barely over 1 million people. Number 14, Estonia Renard Grand Tourer. Estonia has a population of just over 1 million people. For context, that is roughly the attendance of a moderately popular NASCAR weekend. Yet out of a boutique shop in Tallinn comes one of the most mechanically sophisticated cruisers ever conceptualized. Nobody saw this coming. Nobody. The standout feature is the ultralight composite unibody. The frame, the fuel tank, and the airbox are all baked into a single piece of Kevlar-reinforced carbon fiber that weighs just under 20 pounds. The entire chassis, 20 pounds. Your gym bag probably weighs more. It is historically significant because it resurrected the Renard name, an Estonian bicycle and motorized transport brand originally founded in 1938 before being bombed out of existence during World War II. The fact that it came back at all is remarkable. The fact that it came back as a world-class carbon fiber masterpiece is genuinely astonishing. The wartime history of the Renard name adds a dimension to this motorcycle that pure engineering cannot. For buyers who acquire a Renard Grand Tourer, they are getting a piece of resurrected history attached to an objectively extraordinary machine. As for what it costs, it is bespoke, custom order only, heavily exported to high-net-worth buyers worldwide. Prices range wildly depending on customization, but expect well over $100,000. And honestly, if you have to ask, you already know the answer. But what if you do not care about lightweight carbon fiber? What if you just want the biggest, dumbest, most powerful engine possible, crammed into a motorcycle chassis by people who clearly have no interest in being reasonable? You go to the Czech Republic. Number 13, Czech Republic, FGR Midalu 2500/5.6. You usually look to Germany or Italy for massive horsepower, but a family-run business in the Czech Republic decided they were going to build the most powerful production naked bike in the world, and they just went ahead and did it. The standout feature is the monstrous 6-pipe vertical exhaust system shooting out the back, trailing a 2.5-liter V6 engine. The FGR Midalu should not exist. It features 240 horsepower on a naked chassis, wrapped in milled aluminum and carbon fiber. There is no fairings, no bodywork, just engine and attitude and a price tag that will make your eyes water. This is a triumph of Eastern European engineering, proving that independent builders can punch way above their weight class. A family business in a small town built something that Ducati and BMW have not. Hand-built to order and exported globally for approximately $132,000, delivered to the small, very specific number of humans on this planet who need a Czech 5/6 motorcycle in their lives. You know who you are. Before we cross the ocean to see the ultimate agricultural motorcycle, hit that subscribe button. We dive deep into global motorcycle culture like this every single week, and your support keeps this channel running. Number 12. New Zealand UBCO 2x2. New Zealand is defined by rugged terrain, sheep farms, and backcountry trails. They did not need a superbike. They needed an unstoppable mountain goat that could haul fence posts and not complain about it. The standout feature is the two-wheel drive system. Both the front and rear hubs house independent electric motors, giving this lightweight machine literal all-wheel drive. The UBCO 2x2 is essentially an electric tractor disguised as a moped. It weighs just 151 pounds with the battery. It has a dual kickstand so you can park it on the steepest, muddiest hills imaginable. No gears, no clutch, just go. The UBCO has also found an unexpected second life as an urban delivery platform. Several logistics companies in New Zealand and Australia adopted the two-wheel drive system specifically because it handles loading dock ramps, wet pavements, and steep suburban driveways in ways that conventional electric scooters cannot. A bike designed for sheep farms turned out to also be ideal for urban last-mile delivery. That kind of unexpected versatility is usually the mark of genuinely well-engineered fundamentals, rather than a product designed for a single narrow use case. At $6,999 at current US MSRP, this thing is heavily exported to farms, delivery fleets, and weekend adventurers across the globe. It is one of the best value propositions on this entire list. Moving from the muddy hills of New Zealand to the hyper-futuristic streets of Southeast Asia, where a country famous for millions of scooters is now building something that looks like it fell out of a UFO. Number 11. Vietnam Bandit 9 𝐷𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐑 Odyssey. Vietnam is a country dominated by millions of scooters clogging every intersection and treating traffic lights as optional suggestions. But inside a high-tech workshop in Ho Chi Minh City, they are building motorcycles that look like they were designed by an alien with a very good taste in aluminum. The standout feature is the aerospace-grade aluminum unibody. The tank, the tail, and the frame are integrated into a single, bullet-like structure. There are no welds visible, no seams, just one continuous piece of sculpture. The Bandit 9 𝐷𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐑 Odyssey is an art bike that actually functions, powered by a humble, bulletproof 125 cubic centimeters Honda engine. It does not boast massive horsepower, but it is incredibly light and gets over 150 miles to a single tank. It represents a massive shift in Vietnamese manufacturing, moving from mass-market commuter assembly to ultra-premium, bespoke industrial art. Bandit 9 is explicitly positioning itself as an original design manufacturer, a company that creates intellectual property rather than executing someone else's blueprints. Approximately $15,000, custom-built and exported to collectors worldwide, people who have probably never cared about motorcycles before and now cannot stop thinking about this one. That is the power of genuinely original design. Australia is known for Mad Max, kangaroos, and being aggressively enthusiastic about sports. Their newest two-wheeled export is completely silent, and it is about to make a serious argument that the country should have been in this industry decades ago. Number 10. Australia Savic C-Series. Australia has not had a truly massive domestic motorcycle manufacturer in decades. Savic is changing that by skipping gasoline entirely and going straight to the part where the bike sounds like a spaceship. The standout feature is the massive structural battery box wrapped in a classic cafe racer frame. It blends 1960s British aesthetic with 2026 electric technology. The Savic C-Series is Australia's first high-performance electric motorcycle, packing 80 horsepower and 184 foot-pounds of torque. For context, that torque figure is available immediately from 0 RPM the moment you twist the throttle. There is no waiting, just an immediate wall of acceleration. It is surprisingly good because the founder, Denis Savic, spent years developing the software and the bespoke controller in-house, resulting in a machine with buttery smooth power delivery that competes directly with American brands like Livewire, but at a fraction of the corporate overhead. Starting around $19,000 US, It is currently domestic only, but with heavy export plans underway. Speaking of electric bikes, the next entry costs a staggering $80,000 and comes from a country that makes the best carbon fiber on Earth. They decided not to just supply the parts anymore. They built the whole thing. Number 9. South Africa BST HyperTEK. South Africa is globally respected for Blackstone Tech, the company that supplies carbon fiber wheels to Ducati and high-end racing teams worldwide. Then someone in the boardroom asked the obvious question, why are we making wheels for other people's bikes when we could be making the entire bike? The standout feature is the complete absence of a dashboard. All instrumentation is beamed directly into a heads-up display integrated into a bespoke helmet. No screen, no cluster, just a visor full of data while you look through it at the road. The BST HyperTEK was designed by Pierre Terblanche, the legendary designer behind the Ducati Hypermotor. It features a radical carbon fiber frame and an ultra-dense battery pack. It produces 107 horsepower and 88 foot-pounds of torque. It is an $80,000 indulgence that pushes the absolute boundaries of what a motorcycle can look like. The country that supplies wheels to Ducati does not need Ducati anymore. South Africa proved it has the industrial capability to produce hyper exotics from scratch. Sometimes the supplier gets tired of being the supplier. Approximately $80,000. Ultra-limited export to a very small number of people who can afford it and actually have the taste to appreciate what they are looking at. This is not a bike for the masses. It was never supposed to be. Carbon fiber and electric motors are great, but sometimes you need a vehicle built from spare car parts to survive the jungle. Let us travel back to the 1970s, where Brazil invented something that should technically not be legal to call a motorcycle. Number 8. Brazil Amazonas 1600. In the late 1970s, Brazil completely banned the import of foreign motorcycles to protect local industries. The police forces needed heavy pursuit bikes, but they had nothing to ride. So they did what any sensible country would do. They built a Frankenstein monster. The standout feature is the literal 1.6-liter Volkswagen Beetle engine sitting in the middle of the frame, complete with a functional car transmission and a reverse gear, a motorcycle with a reverse gear. Because apparently the Brazilians looked at Harley-Davidson and thought, you know what this needs? The ability to back out of a parking space like a sedan. The Amazonas 1600 weighed 847 pounds. It is historically significant because it represents pure Brazilian ingenuity. When the government cut off the supply of Harley-Davidsons, the Brazilians simply welded a motorcycle frame around the engine of the most common car in the country. It was the only bike in the world you could fix using parts from a local car dealership. It is out of production now, exclusively a domestic Latin American oddity from another era, but highly sought after by extremely specific collectors who have a lot of explaining to do at motorcycle meetups. The price at auction keeps climbing because there are never enough of them. Are there any bikes from your home country that the rest of the world completely ignores? Drop a comment below. We read every single one and might feature your local brand in part 2. Number 7. Philippines Lykan G6 Challenger. The Philippines is one of the largest motorcycle markets in the world, but almost everything is imported from Japan or Taiwan. The local market has been consuming other people's technology for decades. Lykan decided it was time to build their own. The standout feature is the proprietary Lindsay system dashboard, which features an onboard artificial intelligence voice assistant built entirely by a local tech startup, not licensed, not imported, built in the Philippines. The Lykan G6 Challenger runs a liquid-cooled parallel twin 650 cubic centimeters engine producing 60 horsepower, which is genuinely competitive at its price point. But the tech story is what separates it from everything else in this segment. Lykan is building a fully customizable, tech-heavy cruiser where the rider can upgrade body panels and software over the air. It proves that Southeast Asian markets are tired of just being consumers of Japanese technology. They have the software engineers to build their own smart bikes, and the Lykan G6 Challenger is the opening argument in that case. The fact that this exists at all is the story. The rest of the world will catch up eventually. At approximately $5,000, it is currently domestic only, on pre-order with export ambitions clearly on the roadmap. From the Philippines, we head deeper into Eastern Europe, where the ghost of the Soviet Union is still building motorcycles, and they are genuinely impressive. Number 6. Belarus Minsk Goose 400. Belarus is famous for tractors, heavy machinery, and a general national mood that suggests the country has been through some things. But the Minsk motorcycle plant has been quietly churning out bulletproof two-wheelers since the Soviet era, and their latest machine deserves serious attention from people who hate spending money on dealer visits. The standout feature is the towering ADV beak and the heavy-duty tubular crash bars that come standard directly from the factory. While the rest of the world buys $25,000 BMW GS models to ride to Starbucks, the Minsk Goose 400 is an incredibly cheap, mechanically simple adventure bike designed to survive brutal Eastern European winters and unpaved rural roads that most GPS systems refuse to acknowledge exist. It runs a trusted oil-cooled single-cylinder engine that can be repaired with a hammer and a wrench. No dealer required. No diagnostic computer required, no patience required. When the trail ends and the pavement disappears, the Minsk keeps going long after the expensive European alternatives have called a tow truck and begun quietly reconsidering their life choices. Roughly $3,000 exported within Eastern Europe and Russia. $3,000 for a fully capable adventure bike with factory crash bars. That is the entire pitch, and it works. From Eastern Europe to Latin America, where a brand most of the world has never heard of is selling over 1 million motorcycles every single year. Number 5. Mexico, Italika, 250Z. Unless you live in Latin America, you have probably never heard of Italika, but they sell over 1 million motorcycles a year. Let that sink in. 1 million. They completely dominate the Mexican market, and they have been doing it quietly while the rest of the world was absolutely not paying attention. The standout feature is the aggressively styled naked bike trellis frame. It looks like a premium European street fighter, but costs less than a used iPhone. The Italika 250Z is shockingly significant because it mobilized an entire nation. By assembling bikes domestically in Toluca, they bypassed massive import tariffs, allowing millions of working-class citizens to afford reliable transportation for the first time. It is a workhorse dressed in a sports bike tuxedo. 1 million units a year from a brand you have never heard of. That is not a small manufacturer. That is a national institution operating in complete global obscurity. Around $2,200, heavily exported throughout Latin and Central America. $2,200 for a bike that looks like a European street fighter. That number should genuinely embarrass some manufacturers. From Mexico, we fly to East Africa, where a massive electric revolution is quietly happening on the dirt roads of Uganda. And the solution they came up with is smarter than anything Silicon Valley produced. Number 4, Uganda Zembo Storm. In Uganda, motorcycle taxis called bodabodas are the lifeblood of the economy, but gas prices are crippling the drivers who depend on them to feed their families. Enter Zembo, which looked at the problem and came up with a solution that Western EV companies are still struggling to replicate. The standout feature is the modular battery slot. Instead of waiting hours to charge, drivers pull into a solar-powered kiosk, swap a dead battery for a fresh one in 60 seconds, and keep working. 60 seconds, a full charge. While Tesla is arguing about which plug standard is correct, Uganda solved the problem with a battery slot and a solar panel. The Zembo model is being watched closely by electric vehicle investors worldwide as a potential template for EV adoption in markets where charging infrastructure does not exist and probably never will at the scale needed. Building a fast charging network across rural Uganda is economically impossible. Building a network of solar kiosks with standardized battery packs is entirely feasible. Africa is leapfrogging Western EV infrastructure completely. They are not building expensive fast chargers. They are building hyper-efficient battery swapping networks that actually make financial sense for real people doing real work. The insight that you solve the EV adoption problem by making energy itself the subscription product is something the Western industry has been talking about for years. Uganda is already doing it. The bike itself runs around $1,500, with batteries rented through the swap network rather than purchased outright. Domestic to East Africa, with regional expansion actively underway. From Uganda, we head south to Argentina, where a brand that has survived decades of brutal economic collapse is still the undisputed king of the streets. Number 3, Argentina Zanella RX 150. Argentina has a massive riding culture, and Zanella is the undisputed king of their streets. Founded in 1948, this company has survived decades of brutal economic inflation that would have vaporized any normal manufacturer. They are still here. They are still selling, and they have never once panicked. The standout feature is the indestructible telescopic front forks and twin rear shocks, tuned specifically for South American cobblestone and unpaved utility roads that are less roads and more suggested directions. The RX 150 is the Argentine equivalent of the Honda CG 125. It is surprisingly good purely because of its unkillable reliability. When inflation spikes and parts become impossible to import, the Zanella keeps running. It is the definition of a blue-collar survivor. In the United States or Western Europe, a motorcycle is primarily a lifestyle choice. In Argentina, a Zanella is frequently the only reliable personal transport a working family can afford. The engineering brief for those two use cases is completely different, and Zanella has spent over 70 years optimizing for the latter. A company that has outlasted currency collapses, political upheaval, and global supply chain chaos by building something simple enough to never break deserves enormous respect. Under $1,500. Domestic dominance throughout Argentina and surrounding markets. Under $1,500 for a motorcycle that has survived everything the Argentine economy could throw at it. From Argentina, we move to Poland, where a brand with a history dating back to the 1950s has completely reinvented itself for the modern era, and the result is genuinely charming. Number 2, Poland Junak M12 Vintage. Junak is a legendary name in Poland. Back in the 1950s, they built heavy, loud, four-stroke motorcycles that were dubbed the Polish Harley-Davidson. The communists loved them. The workers rode them. Then the brand disappeared for years. Then they came back, and they came back cleverly. The standout feature is the flawless retro-spoked wheels and teardrop tank. It perfectly mimics a 1940s American bobber, but scales it down for European A1 license holders. The entry-level license category that covers millions of riders across the continent who would love a bobber but cannot legally ride a leader bike. Polish engineering focuses on taking affordable, small displacement blocks and wrapping them in premium-feeling chrome and leather that costs a fraction of what the appearance suggests. The M12 Vintage captures the massive global trend of retro cruising and makes it genuinely accessible. It is the rare motorcycle that looks like it should cost $10,000 and retails for $3,000. That gap between expectation and price is the entire business model, executed with remarkable precision. The build quality is better than the price has any right to suggest, and the styling turns heads in ways that bikes costing 3 times as much do not. Roughly $3,000 exported across Eastern and Central Europe. $3,000 for a bike that looks like $10,000. The Junak M12 Vintage is arguably the best value aesthetic in the entire retro motorcycle market right now. And finally, number 1, a country with a massive domestic auto industry that mostly gets ignored in motorcycle conversations. Until now, because what Modenas pulled off with their top bike is a masterclass in how to take licensed technology and make it genuinely your own. Before we reveal number 1, smash that subscribe button right now if you want part 2 of this global tour. The world is full of bikes like these and we are just getting started. Number 1, Malaysia Modenas Pulsar RS200. Malaysia has a massive domestic auto industry, but when it comes to motorcycles, Modenas is the national pride. And the story of how they got here is more interesting than just the bike itself. So stick with me for a second. The standout feature is the triple spark ignition system. 3 spark plugs in a single 200 cubic centimeter cylinder ensure absolute maximum combustion efficiency and power delivery. Now, full transparency here, and we are saying this before the comments do, the engine and triple spark technology in the Pulsar RS200 are licensed from Bajaj, the Indian motorcycle giant that originally developed this system. The Indian riding audience already knows this, and they deserve to know you know it too. But here is the actual story worth telling. Modenas did not just badge engineer a foreign product and call it Malaysian. They localized the entire manufacturing process, optimized the chassis specifically for Malaysian road conditions, and brought the final price point down far enough to undercut Japanese rivals by thousands of dollars in the domestic market. Modenas itself has a politically interesting origin story. Founded in 1995 as a Malaysian government initiative to develop domestic automotive capability, with early technical partnerships with Kawasaki providing the manufacturing foundation. Malaysia decided decades ago that it wanted to build things rather than import them. And Modenas is one of the most visible results of that national industrial policy. Taking world-class licensed technology and making it your own through localization and cost engineering is an entirely legitimate industrial achievement. The Bajaj partnership is not the asterisk. It is how they got there. The result is a fully fared, aggressive sports bike that offers anti-lock brakes, perimeter frames, and fuel injection at a price point that proves Malaysia is transitioning from making simple mopeds to technologically advanced sports machines. 24 horsepower, a BS standard, $2,500. Where they go from here is the story to watch. Approximately $2,500 with a massive domestic and Southeast Asian presence and growing global brand awareness that the rest of the world is only beginning to notice. $2,500, ABS standard, fuel injection, perimeter frame. The value equation here is genuinely embarrassing for the competition. So there you have it. We are so used to looking at the big four Japanese brands that we completely ignore the engineering marvels happening in the rest of the world. From Estonian carbon fiber to Brazilian car engine cruisers to a Ugandan battery swap network that Silicon Valley still has not figured out, the motorcycle industry is vastly bigger than you think. Continue the ride by clicking on the next video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that like button for us. See you on the road.